Happy Monday, June 22nd. Welcome to another exciting edition of Rate Desk. I'm your host, Michael Thomas, here to talk about multifamily interest rates and other news. First, going to the markets. NASDAQ closes today on an uptrend for 2020. That is good to see. We are also seeing an uptick in the S&P 500 where the numbers were last week on today's close, and the Dow is approaching nearly a week uptrend. That's great to see. Jumping over to crude oil futures, those broke into the $40 barrel range. That is great to see, and I hope it continues. We are seeing a U.S. 10-year Treasury yield that is range-bound to last week at 71 basis points today. That is 0.71. FHA rates, topic I know and love very well, those have come down on their quotes today from where we were last week, which was already low. As you know, last week I locked a rate at 233, quoting the indicative range, it was 245. Now that indicative range is 240, so it's gotten 5 basis points tighter. I can only imagine what a live quote would be today. I wish I was locking 10 more loans. So we are seeing a 240 on the 35-year fixed acquisition refinance program. On the new construction, 221 D4, we're seeing an incredibly low 3.05 fixed for 40 years. Agencies, not much change there. Really, exceptions are the rule of the land there. We are still seeing 290, I think, is a good lower part of the middle average for the Fannie Mae DUS today. And then on the Freddie Mac, we're seeing, again, kind of a continued trend in that 310-ish range. Of course, it could go up to 316, and it could be slightly under that in the 306 as we were last week. So those are the range on the agency quotes today. No major moves in that market today. Now, what I want to talk with you about today, I want to shout out to my affordable housing developers and owners, okay? Also known as LIHTC, for the Low Income Housing Tax Credit Program that is the $8 billion per year driver of equity in that market. Listen to me here on this, folks. Popular product in affordable housing, very popular, is the Freddie Forward, okay? The reason it's popular is because a developer of affordable housing can go to their LIHTC equity partner and say, hey, guess what? I got my interest rate locked even though we haven't even started breaking ground yet, 2 years from now. Okay, so it gives the LP a little bit of peace of mind, and folks have liked that product. There is underwriting risk, right, that you have at the end. You really have to basically re-underwrite the loan, but sometimes that gives a nice warm fuzzy at the beginning. Well, folks that did that a while ago may have a much higher interest rate than they may want to continue with. So I was on a call today with another lender, has a client that had done one of these forwards, over 18 months ago. He's at 5.25, 5.25. Are you kidding me? That's like 300 basis points wide, nearly, of the 223F rate today. Okay, anecdotally, I heard that those breakage fees are not too bad. I'm just saying, take a look. I mean, I don't know. If it were me, I wouldn't want to be closing in a rate with a 5 in front of it today. I think that's nuts, particularly when I'm closing in the 2s and not even the high 2s. I'm talking low 2s. So investigate that. Hey, forwards are awesome when interest rates go up. When they drop dramatically, not such a great program at that point. They have dropped dramatically. Reinvestigate that. If the breakage fees are not too onerous, maybe something you want to consider there. And speaking of forwards, traditionally the HUD program, FHA program, the buyers of those security instruments generally have not had any kind of an option for a forward lock that made economic sense for the borrower. In other words, the amount of money that you had to put at risk in terms of equity on the rate lock, there was no advantage to doing that, right? So people just didn't do it. I did hear today on a call that if there is a large construction project involved in your multifamily, that could be new construction, that could be sub-rehab, heck, it could even be what we call a heavy F, a heavy 223F refinance where, there's just under, maybe there's 30,000 a door of construction and you're not replacing 2 or more major systems. Even something like that could be appealing to a union, okay, where it's gonna employ a lot of their workers on this job, and there are union buyers. There's pension funds that are buyers of these instruments that are willing to do some forward locks and do some favorable terms, very favorable terms, because it's putting their workers to work and they like that. Okay, it's not available in every market, but in certain markets, we cover a lot in the Midwest. I'm in the mountain region, cover a lot there. There are very specific buyers of these where you can take an advantage like that and lock in for, I heard a number today of about half a basis point, 50 basis points, half a point. You can lock that in. That's not too bad, especially considering we really feel like, if we're not at the bottom, then we must be going to 0% because these rates are incredibly low. Again, something to think about, that there are options on FHA now for forward locks in certain scenarios. And hey, if you did a forward lock a little while ago, it might be time to revisit that and really think long and hard about what permanent debt source you want to venture into. You are locking that rate. You are going to live off of that cash flow as your property incomes come in. So something to think about. That's food for thought on Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend and come back tomorrow for another exciting edition of Rate Desk. This is your host, Michael Thomas, signing off.